Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. The Knicks hold on. What would have been an embarrassing loss, but they get the win. Second night of a back-to-back in Brooklyn. The Knicks win 99-95. This one was too uncomfortable. Let's talk about it. Let's give out the game ball, the grades tonight. As we look ahead, the Knicks will get 3 days rest, and it looks like they need it. Tonight, the players played heavy minutes. Once again, Tibs, how did he coach on this second night of a back-to-back? We'll talk about it tonight with the best chat in the biz. Let's get into it, guys. As Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns, Brunson, OG, Mikal Bridges, man, clawed this one out, snatched it, man, as the Brooklyn Nets, the pesky Brooklyn Nets tonight, man, they showed heart, Brooklyn, and obviously the Knicks, though, lethargic and sloppy, definitely, and it would have been an embarrassing loss, but the Knicks got away with the win, right? You don't look, when you look back when the season's done, you don't think about how the Knicks got the win, you just get the win, right? You stack them up, but this one was definitely the most ugly win of the season, right? But 29-16, our record now, 13 games above 500. Looks like Orlando is going to lose today, and that's a good result for the Knicks as well. We'll look at the NBA landscape later tonight and give out these grades, but the Knicks-Brooklyn rivalry, the Knicks have got 9 straight now on the bounce against the Brooklyn Nets. OG Anunoby, the big slam helped give us enough separation, although it was still a little dicey as Cam Johnson got that open three. Good contest, though, late from Hart, I believe, and we're able to get the rebound. Hart was able to get that rebound as well, call a timeout, but this is the definition of bad execution. I mean, the Knicks had 3 points in the fourth quarter with 3 and change remaining, right? They just couldn't get anything to go down, but poor execution early in this game is what I really felt hurt the Knicks. We played around with our food, and teams are going to hang around, right? But Tibs, some poor calls out of timeouts, some turnovers as well, but the Knicks got out-rebounded tonight. I don't think Tibs adjusted very well with the size element. No Huck Pority tonight. And the Knicks got out-rebounded, right? We had 29 dimes, which is excellent. I think when the Knicks get over 30 dimes, where something like 20 and something, great record when we have over 30 dimes. But 29 tonight. The ball movement was good early, but there was just too many funks throughout the game, 5 minutes, 6 minutes of no buckets, bad turnovers as well, trying to look for that showtime pass, overpassing as well, isolation play, but the Knicks pulled it out. We got solid contribution from Deuce Miles McBride off the bench, Precious Achiuwa as well, gave the Knicks a spark, but Karl Anthony Towns today, he's going to get an A, and he'll get the game ball for me. As coach in the building, I see you, chat. What's up, buzzer beater Miguel? We've got Coach Troy in the building. Omar, salute, guys. Hope you're having a great week so far. And yeah, the Knicks will have a break until Saturday. We get it back at MSG versus the Kings. This is the first time, I think, this season the Knicks will have 3 days rest, right? Outside of that NBA Cup schedule. But I think the Knicks really need it, but I think Tibbs should have gone further into his bag with Huck Pority tonight, as the Knicks got out-rebounded. But Cat will get the game ball for me. Buzzer Beater says it was closer than it should have been. Absolutely, and is that the definition of, the Knicks playing down to the competition? Is it the second night of a back-to-back more so? I mean, it's inexcusable still. I can't quite put my finger on it, man. I'm going to be honest. I haven't quite got gauge of this team yet, man. They're the most confusing Knicks team that I've seen. They are a good team, but they have so many weaknesses. So make of that what you will. How do you be a good team but with so many weaknesses? The coach, I think, at the number one level, the top level, I think, how far can we go with this coach, man? I mean, I'm not a fan at the moment. I feel like, whatever happens this season, man, will unfold. But as we follow along, I think the Knicks do need extra size. Leon Rose has to get to work, man. We're going to talk about a trade on the horizon, man. Phoenix just pulled off a trade to get 3 first-round draft picks now, and it looks like they're going to send them to Miami for Jimmy Butler in a reported 4-team deal as well. Maybe the Knicks can get in on that, but it looks like Chris Middleton might be headed out as well, and Bradley Beal might be headed to the Milwaukee Bucks. Chris Middleton to Miami, Jimmy Butler to the Phoenix Suns. We'll talk about that as well. But yeah, Leon Rose has got to make a move and get some guys that Tibs will want to play more, because I'm frustrated that Huckporty's not getting a chance, right? We could have wrapped this game up early. The only strength that Brooklyn had, in my opinion, was the size. You know, they had Claxton, Day'Ron Sharpe, and, you know, 59 rebounds to 51. That's unacceptable, you know, with Hart and Cat rebounding so well. You know, to get out rebounded by 8 was crazy. But salute to Paula in the building. Let's get it. Coach says Precious is not a great rebounder. Yep. I think size limits Precious. Solid bench player. I think solid rotation player. However, I don't want to rely on Precious so much. I think, you know, and I don't want to pin all my hopes on Mitchell Robinson either. You know, that date, that timeline just keeps changing, man. We've seen this movie 1,000 times. We've seen it with Julius Randle. We've seen it with Mitch before as well. I mean, now it's back early February. Who knows, man? He's not going to be back until the trade deadline's finished. So yeah, that's why Leon Rose has to make some backup plans, fam, or force, you know, him to play the dual big lineups at stretches of the game. You know, I'm not saying for 48 minutes, because, you know, we still like some of that stretch 5 lineup with Cat, but, you know, to get out rebounded by Brooklyn was tough, man. OG, you know, I thought he was laboring tonight. There's no doubt about it. OG did not look spry. He looks heavy, and he's laboring a bit out there. 37 minutes tonight, 8 of 18. The shot's not falling, man. He had an open 3 in the left corner to close the game out a lot earlier, and he bricked it. So the shooting for OG struggling, minus 4 tonight, 20 points though. Gave us 4 rebounds. Mikal Bridges returned home to Brooklyn, again struggling as well. Soft legs on the back-to-back, 3 of 12 from the field. Not going to get it done, man. 10 points from Brooklyn Bridges tonight, plus 8 though. He's been better defensively, but offensively, you know, this is one of the reasons why I think the Knicks need another shot creator, you know, against great teams. We've seen it against Oklahoma, you know, elite defenses. You know, Bridges just can't be relied on as the third scorer. Tonight, you see how much Jalen Brunson has to work and how much Cat has to work just to get over the line against the Brooklyn Nets. If that doesn't ring alarm bells, nothing will, because we're going to face a lot better competition. And with Bridges, OG, Hart's not an offensive kind of player as well. So, yeah, man, I think obviously they can have their nights where things fall and Bridges looks solid offensively, but I'm judging for the sample and the wider, you know, the extension of games where, you know, it's up and down. It's just up and down like a yo-yo and like a roller coaster. GK, what's up in the building? Geraldine, salute. A win is a win. Good win for a back-to-back game. I appreciate you, Geraldine. Good positivity. The context is obviously important as well, but no doubt about it. You know, you don't want to lose this game, but, you know, I have mixed feelings right now because, you know, I know it's a second night of a back-to-back, but we just played around with our food way too much. And one key thing that I really want to point out is I really feel like our offense just gets a little too cute sometimes. And I know we've kind of gone from a laboring half-court team when we had iHeart, Julius, and that, and we've graduated to an amazing elite offense. I want us to bring it back a little bit, you know, to be a bit more like just get back to our chalk and cheese. You know, we're looking for the Hollywood pass, you know, the quarterback, you know, touchdown pass from Hart, throwing it all over the place, out of bounds. I mean, if we count up all these bad possessions and we rack them all up, the Knicks should be blowing these teams out. But we're getting too cute, you know. We're getting too cute, too sloppy, you know, and a little bit of low IQ as well out here as well. I think everybody's kind of at fault with that situation. Deuce McBride, great to have him back. We really need his spark off the bench. I thought he should have played more minutes. GK says schedule gets serious next week. Really great time to have the 3-day break. Miguel says take the win any way possible. Yeah, definitely when the night's done, you look at it as just a win. But yeah, in the scheme of things, I think the Knicks should have closed this one out a lot earlier. I even had suggestions, people coming out saying, why play Cat? Why play Hart in this one? Well, yeah, without these guys, it probably would have been an L. So it just goes to show that, yeah, we're grinding out wins, and we know how much Tibs' regular season record can look inflated. So I feel like we're a good team, but I don't think we're as good as our record says right now, if I'm being honest. I think, a lot of these games are just too close. They're too grind out for the talent that we have versus the opponent. But yeah, do we rely on our 3-point ball too much, guys? 28% from 3 tonight. Tonight there was a lid on the bucket, man. Brooklyn Nets put some sort of invisible lid on the rim. We couldn't get a 3 ball down. We only attempted 28, which is about 10 lower than our average. We are averaging about 38 threes per game. Tonight we only got up 28. So yeah, Brooklyn, they played solid defense tonight. Half this squad I don't even know, to be honest with you, which kind of makes it more embarrassing. But they played hard. They hustled tonight. Coaches, rotations, defense, and rebounding is a problem. Yeah, one thing that I did appreciate was the defensive lineup late. He took Cat out. He put Precious Achiuwa in. It wasn't great, but it got us a stop. And Tibbs at least went offense, defense, substitutions. He wasn't that stubborn late in that one. All right, but Precious was in there for Cat on that possession. Coaches, Delano Banton would be nice, 6'8" point guard. I think then above all else, I think, the Knicks need size, in my opinion. We need extra size at the wing. And some playmaking. Brunson gets trapped, he could turn the ball over a little bit. Again, he's one of those guys that I'm kind of, my heart's in my mouth sometimes with JB. He needs to steady it down a bit more, in my opinion, man. And what's with the missed free throws from Jalen Brunson? Another night where he misses back-to-back free throws for an 80% shooter at the free throw line as well, fam. So, yeah, play some Tyler Kolek. More Cameron Payne, he ain't a floor general that's going to steady things up, man. I love Cameron Payne. He is what he is, but he's an up-tempo, street ball kind of point guard. Get up and down, play fast pace, but when it's a grind-out game, it can go south real quick, right? So we need a steadying presence, I think, out on the floor sometimes. Tibbs needs to have a quick hook with Cameron Payne. He needs to give Tyler Kolek a chance, in my opinion. As we get through the highlights, we talk about our guys tonight that pulled out the win. I mean, the best result tonight, I think, was Orlando losing. Also, 3 days rest right now, man. Hopefully no practice. Chris Gotti says, weird game. Brunson had an off game until the end when it counts. Yeah, I like that. I like what you said, late until when it counts. That's why I gave Captain Clutch the clutch icon at my half-season report. The last show we did. I think, one thing that obviously you can count on is that Brunson can help you win the game and close it out. Hit some free throws as well. B. Willis, salute. Hey, CT, been saying we are tweeners for 3 years. Yeah, is Mitch going to help with that a lot? Absolutely. Precious Achiuwa's real position is the 4. OG's real position, in my opinion, is the 3. So let's try to get some positional size out there. I mean, without Hart being an amazing rebounder, we would be a little undersized with him as well, being at the 3 as well, fam. Look, on some positive side, I'm liking some grit that Mikal Bridges is showing, defensively. As I bring up one of these stats that just came out from an outlet. Let me bring this up. As we continue along tonight, guys, smash that like button. The Knicks got the victory, back-to-back wins. Hopefully this is the start of a streak. But we've got the Kings next up on Saturday. Right. Now, the latest piece from Chris Herring. We know him well from covering the Knicks back with the Wall Street Journal back in his career, but now covering the NBA. He released a great piece but on Mikal Bridges. Two things that come out of that were very interesting. Mikal Bridges is the most screened player right now, nearly 25 times per night. So the scouting report on the other team, they're putting Mikal in these screens 25 times per night, the highest rate since the second spectrum started tracking it 12 years ago. So he's under the hammer right now, man. They're putting him in screens in action every single time, and he is playing better. He is kind of showing some more grit, which I appreciate. But yeah, how long can that last? Are his legs going to get soft as the season goes? The other thing is, his jump shot. It's being recorded now as 4 inches higher than last season. So that could be affecting the shot as well. We know that he hasn't quite adjusted back to his former jump shot. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. Courtesy of Chris Herring too. But yeah, on Mikal Bridges, not a great game offensively tonight, man. But defensively, he's getting better. But yeah, Cat gets the game ball, guys, because of the give and goes, the dimes, the buckets down low. I mean, he's a new age center, but a throwback as well. This is a Nikola Jokic type play with Russell Westbrook. Hopefully we can utilize this a lot more and get some easier buckets. I like Brunson there in the corner. That's the kind of possession where you can give Brunson a break, where he can just space the floor out. Run the offense through Cat. What do you guys think about that? Should we run the offense through Cat more as well? Let us know your thoughts on that. B. Willis says we are short to depend on the 3 ball. I don't want to depend on the 3 ball, too much because it can be hot and cold, definitely. Now, if we can get our pace up, we are going to get better 3-point looks, and I can see it that way. But right now, we're 25th in pace, so we are going to continue to play at a slower pace. So getting good 3-point looks is going to be difficult in the playoffs as these defenses ratchet up. Fam. Buzzer Beater says Cam is a gunslinger. Salute. Yeah, he's a real lightning rod kind of player. He can catch lightning in a bottle and just look like an all-star out there for a second. But yeah, we need a steadying presence at times. I feel like Kolek and him should be per matchup how the game is going. But unfortunately to me, Tibs just ain't have a pulse on the game. He just plays the same lineups, the same things, doubles down, rather than just get a feel for that game, man. Listen to the assistant coaches a bit more as well. Landry Shamet, he did play 9 tonight, got 6 minutes, but nothing in the second half. And that's when the legs get soft for these other guys. And that's when I think you still need to play more guys in that third quarter. Buzzer says, is Brunson burning out? I think if we continue on this rate, I think there's a chance he will. I think it's important to manage his minutes more than anyone's, and him and OG, because I think we really need their 3-point shooting. Like Cat, his 3-point shooting is effortless, man. He doesn't really need much lift. And, he's a big guy. It's all in the wrist action. But for Brunson and for OG Anunoby, their 3-point ball is relied on their legs, They need that elevation. So when they're heavy legs, we see the 3-point shot affected. OG 33% from deep and Brunson 25% as well. So that's my 2 cents on that, fam. For the 3-point ball, yeah, we need to manage those guys better. Eddie F, great to see you. Salute. Struggling with Brooklyn, ATL, and Detroit. Really tough to take this team seriously in the long run. I think adjustments have to be made. However, I still think we can sleepwalk our way through to the second round. That's where things get real, That's where things will get real. And, maybe we have a few new players on the roster. Maybe we're playing a few more guys. Maybe Mitchell Robinson makes that much of an impact. I'm hoping. Whatever it is, I hope that, the fortunes are great for us, Hopefully we can get a favorable matchup. But yeah, there is enough concern that, we can't ignore it. We shouldn't just bury our heads in the sand thinking this team is going to sleepwalk to the second round. Uh, Firstly, we have to lock up a great seed. Third seed's right there for the taking. I would ideally, love to get second, but that's going to be a grind, fam, as the schedule gets tough. Scotty Scott says, I take the Knicks seriously, serious defensive problems, but a win is a win is a win. Yeah, amen to that. A win is a win is a win. Um, Look, if you want to spin more positives, we can grind out wins without shooting the three ball, and we've shown that multiple times this season, where we don't rely on the three and we can still get the win. But for me, we only do that if our defense can get stops late. And we fortunately were able to stop Brooklyn, but look at Brooklyn's lineup tonight. If we were playing, even ATL, we would have found it a lot tougher to get some stops too. But doesn't mean I appreciate Cat any less. And our guys, they battle. They definitely play their hearts out. And I think it just starts from the top, in my opinion. Tibbs has to lead this club with smart decisions, smart adjustments. That's what a coach does, man. The players do what they need to do on the court, but the coach must be putting them in positions to succeed, right? And I do have my doubts about that, right? I don't have as many doubts as these players. Once they're on the court, they'll figure things out. But against certain matchups and, some things that Tibbs does that I don't like, I think might hold us back. Um, but I mean, Hart's a warrior. That rebound, man, he skied like basically as high as the Empire State Building to grab that rebound late, and savvy play, called that timeout without falling out of bounds, which was big time. Uh, as I said before, our offense is so pretty sometimes, but I just don't want us to get too careless with the basketball. A lot of showtime passes. This one from Hart looks pretty, right? But what I mean is, for every one of these passes, fam, there's maybe one or two of them that go way out of bounds, or, they get picked off, or the player just can't catch it. And I think we're just giving up too many easy possessions. We're giving away too many possessions. We have to take care of the basketball. When the playoffs come, every possession matters. So, I like our offense getting up and down, but I think we need to sort of rein it in a little bit and be more careful with the basketball. You know, uh, just play some basic sets, get cat on the block, bounce pass down low, back to the basket, getting posting up, things like that. Uh, I think we can get better. And I do think mentally we do take the opposition lightly sometimes. I think we just based on talent, I think the New York Knicks feel like they can just outgun anybody. And that's when we fall ourselves into that trap, like we did tonight. You know, you end up in a dogfight late in the ball game because you didn't close them out before. You didn't take the game seriously and execute the way that you needed to. But yeah, back-to-back wins, that's the positive for me, guys. It's not easy. We've seen the NBA, man, full circle. The Boston Celtics are struggling recently, and as I want to talk a lot more about the NBA later, the Orlando Magic, man, they are 3-7 in their last 10. They looks like they lost tonight as well to the Raptors. So I was wrong, man. I thought when Paolo Banchero got back, they were going to go on a run, but they're gone the other way now. And Indiana and the Bucks have passed them now. So you can never take anything for granted, fam. Buzzer Beater says, if we increase the pace, Tibbs has to expand that rotation. Faster pace will wear down these guys on the current rotation. Great observation. 100% agree. I think 9 was always the base level for me, I know a lot of people are celebrating that we're playing 9 men now. That was the base level. Ideally 10 man on especially back to backs. Like there's no doubt about it. Most smart coaches in the NBA do play 10, especially on a back to back. Now, the 9th and 10th guy could be small minutes, but you still find a way to get him in there. Huck Porty would have been great tonight, or Kolek, in my opinion. What do you guys think? What's up, Chance in the building? Yeah, we've got some issues with the coach, the offensive system, and running plays. Yeah, not developing the bench further. It's his chance. I think it's all about trust. You know, Tibbs won't play guys if he doesn't trust them enough because we know how much he values wins, man. He's obsessed with wins, regular season wins, any kind of win. And he says, winning is more fun than fun is fun. So that tells you how much he values every single game, man. He treats it like it's the final game of, of an NBA finals, and he coaches that way, which is short-sighted. Everyone agrees, it is. It's short-sighted. There is games, and then there's other games, and you have to let other guys get a chance to show you what they can do, and that they can be trusted in certain situations. That's the biggest key, guys. We ain't saying play these rookies 25 minutes, but you can trust them in certain situations. It's up to Tibbs to figure out what those situations are, you know. Otherwise, you're just going to run these other guys into the ground. And I did think OG looked laboring tonight, you know. I mean, the way he's running, it's like, yeah, he can't stride more than a meter with his strides right now. He's laboring out there. Bam. We need a backup wing. We really, really, really do need a backup wing. If Brunson misses time, we've got point guard depth. We've got backups. If a big man goes down, we have enough bigs on the roster if Tibbs goes deeper into the bag. But we don't have any depth at the wing. We don't have a backup wing that Tibbs will want to play right now. Now, you could say play Dardier. I would agree, but Tibbs doesn't agree with that right now. So does he push Leon Rose to get Bruce Brown, who could be available, or another guy? Shay says 10 is the way to go. Yeah, definitely. I think that's, yeah, I agree. Mike Blaze says you guys love blaming Tibbs for teams' problems. It's the players. Let us know what you think specifically. Obviously I criticize the players as well, but I do think they get sloppy with the basketball sometimes, and that's not on Tibbs. That's on them. Hart, Cat, Brunson, even they do look for the showtime pass sometimes too. They get careless with the basketball. But yeah, hold the team to a high standard and they'll elevate. That's all. I think all our criticism, well, I like to hope that a Knicks fan's criticism comes from a good place. We don't want to see the team fail. Otherwise, you're not a Knicks fan. Now, if you criticize the team, it usually comes from a place where you can see where they can get better, where you see they can do different and improve, or maybe you just got really high standards. You want them to beat Boston. You want us to beat Oklahoma, and right now we're just not there yet. Maybe things can change and we can get some impact players back as well, especially Mitch. Yeah, tonight we got out rebounded. We didn't shoot the 3 ball well, and we got out of jail. So, pleased with the win, but not how it not how it happened. Basically, you see Hart in the -3, OG -4, Cat +16, Mikhail +8. As I gave him props for his defense, and everyone else basically a minus except Campaign. Even Brunson was -5 tonight. So, yeah, if we're shouting out our guys, Cat and Bridges were pretty solid tonight. Mike says number one problem is consistency. That's all I want to see. Absolutely. Definitely. Absolutely. Eddie F says Billy Daughtry was 100% right. Not enough dogs. You said it, fam. And we're going to talk to Billy D soon. And I definitely appreciated his input earlier in the season. We haven't caught up with Bill Daughtry recently, but everything he said is basically rung true for him foreshadowing some of the team's issues, but it's not just so much about dogs. It's just size and depth, I think, at the wing spot, One of the reasons I was really high on the team before the Cat trade is because we were once in a position where Hart and Hart and DiVincenzo were coming off our bench. That was a game changer, in my opinion. Now, the starting five may not have been as strong. You can definitely make a strong case for that. Randall, and losing Hart. But, if you're at the point where Hart and DiVincenzo are coming off your bench, now you don't have DiVincenzo and Hart starting, you've lost a huge part of your depth that the Knicks still have to fix up. And maybe they will, hopefully. Paula says the Knicks players look tired. Definitely today, I think more so. We escape with the win. But yeah, we can't continue on this way, I think, long term, as the schedule gets tough, as you guys already know. But Cat gets the game ball. He gets the A. He's the MVP of our season, guys. How much slander did you hear about Cat before the trade? And do you understand now the impact that Cat has on this ball club? Missed the game against Minnesota. We see with him how different we look. He just gives us so much versatility. And I would like us to run the offense through him a lot more, even in the pinch post, get him those post up looks, man. He's got such a beautiful soft touch. The hook shot's money. He should be getting to the foul line a lot more. He's getting disrespected. I did tweet something out at Knicks Buzz. If you're on X or formerly Twitter, give us a follow there as well. I won't bring this up here because it might get a copyright, but it was a segment based on former referee Tim Donaghy, the one that's come out and confessed to changing games as a referee. He spoke about Allen Iverson, how referees got together and talked about serious vendettas that they had against certain players, and they officiated the same way according to that vendetta. And we see in the current day, certain players don't get a whistle, and I think it might still be going on within the current fraternity of referees. But yeah, I mean, the plus minus tells a huge story tonight, fam. Plus 16 for Cat and most of the others in the minus. Salute, Johnny. Let's get it. Eddie F agrees. The Hart Devo Heart bench unit was elite. You throw in Deuce McBride there as well. But that's also a positive thing where if we can get that depth back somehow, if Leon Rose, as I said in my half-season report, if he can hit a home run mid-season trade and get our bench depth back up to speed, together with this elite starting five, then we're really starting to cook. And we're really starting to cook. And who knows, maybe even next season it might take a summer to get another move. Maybe he even gets DiVincenzo back. Some wilder things that would have happened in the past. I won't rule nothing out. But if he can get someone to give the bench a big spark would be great. Lonnie Meek says the front office needs to force Tibs to expand the roster, back-to-back tired legs. Hopefully there's those conversations, fam. More so should be coming from the health science people. You got Casey Smith, who the Knicks poached from Dallas, in the offseason. He's one of the best in the business. Hopefully he's leading the charge, talking to Tibs. Ed Diaz says, do you think Mitch and Cat will be playing together or one in and the other resting? I think to start, I think he would play them individually, but I think maybe to close games out or for key stretches during the game, he'll play them together. So I think he's going to mix it up. I don't foresee Mitch starting even straight away. I think he's going to have to ease his way back. But maybe in the playoffs, like I said last show against Cleveland, we might need to see that lineup a lot more, I think, because their size rebounding is key. It's just the anchor of our defense, fam. It was last season. Our strength of our defense was built on clogging the paint and gobbling up those rebounds. Because as we saw against Philly, man, in the first round, if the other team has an off-shooting night, we can still beat them if we have an off-shooting night because we're going to grab all those rebounds, Whether they miss or we miss, we're going to get that rebound with the extra size out there. Now, if we want to fool around and play Cat at the 5, play OG at the 4, we are going to suffer with some rebounding. I think so. Yeah. Tibbs has to obviously understand what was successful last season. He'll know. He'll know what iHeart was so great at. Um, Buzzerbeater says, "Don't look now. Here comes the Bucks and the Pacers on their win streaks." Yeah, the regular season ride continues, ups, downs. Now is the time for Orlando to take a dip while these other teams are taking a spike. But I think, yeah, we've still got, plenty of time remaining, and we might see some more twists in the season, fam. Uh, Great reason why the Knicks have the season series against the Magic and the Bucks, which is key. Let's go out there and win that season series against the Pacers. That's the one I'm looking for next, fam. Um, we ain't going to win the season series against Boston or Cleveland, and that might not even matter because we might finish below. But if we can win the season series against the Pacers, that'll be key. And we have one win against the Heat as well. So yeah, Mikal Bridges is up next. Let's hit on his grade. 3 of 12 tonight, but was +8. Gave us a couple of free throws, 10 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals, and 1 foul for Bridges tonight, man. 25% from the field, 33% from downtown. Mikal Bridges tonight. Right, mixed game for sure, but obviously comparing to the starting 5, he was more impactful defensively. Got us 2 steals and was a part of that run where the Knicks got up. So mixed bag, but I'm going to go, I'll go a B- for Mikal Bridges in this one. Helped us get the win, but definitely below standard offensively. Eddie F says, "Remember we lost 5 rotation guys and brought back 3. 6 went out if you include Bogey." Yeah, and I think smart people recognize the situation. ESPN, some of them, they're not just looking for hot takes, but yeah, Brian Windhorst been talking about it for months now, and he said, look, just maybe give the Knicks a couple of transaction cycles just to build up that depth back up. And so yeah, the onus has gone back onto Leon Rose now, I feel. Tibbs is doing what he can do. The players have done their job. We are 13 games above 500 now. We're in the trade season. It's back over to Leon Rose now. Leon, get us a piece. Get us a piece, fam. You can see the team's weaknesses. You got plenty of games to analyze and recognize what this team needs, I think. And yeah, it's too much to put at the feet of Mitchell Robinson, fam. I can already see people starting to heap, criticism on Mitchell Robinson if he gets back and he looks, subpar. But I think that would be unfair because I think the expectation shouldn't be overly high. It should be pleasantly surprised if he comes back and is impactful. But otherwise, he's coming back off leg surgery, long layoff. It's going to take time for him to get back up to speed. And I'm not putting all my eggs in the Mitch basket right now. I really feel like Tibbs should be warming up and playing Huck Porty more, or Sims next to Cat. Let's see what happens. Johnny says Mitch's talents bounding the ball would be a major difference in a game like this. Yeah, he could be a great impact player, fam, like you said. He could be a 10 to 15 minute, impactful player where, he might close games out for that defensive possession, protect the rim, get us a double-double. He could be an 18 minutes, kind of night guy. And that might keep him healthy. That might keep him healthy, fam. Yeah, Daniel Gafford is out there, Scotty. Daniel Gafford is a guy that's, yeah, I was surprised to hear that he's on the block, but it looks like Dallas got more than enough to go with Blake Lively. Derek Lively, sorry. Yeah, man, I love Cat's passing. Once again, salute to Cat. Next up, let's talk about OG Anunoby. 8 of 18. Hit his free throws, which is good. Gave us 20 points, 4 boards, 3 steals, and a block from OG. So workman type performance. It's just unfortunate that the offense is suffering now at the moment because he's he's putting in all his energy on the defensive side, to make sure that he's doing his job on that side, but he's bricking open shots, and that wasn't the case earlier in the season. So let's hope that the shot comes back for OG. That's when we were gunning and we were thriving, fam, during that 9-game winning streak. OG was splashing, and he was one of our best offensive players, and the offense has really come back down. But fortunately, that he's such a great defender with such high ceiling defensively, that his defense is still very impactful. I think even when he is a little sore, a little tired, all of that. But we need that backup. We need that backup wing. So for that tonight, I'm going to give OG the grade. He gets a B plus for tonight. OG Anunoby, 20 points and some defense to go with that. Extra size in the backcourt as well, I think, would be key. Al Tango, salute to you. Many blessings, Knicks family. Sloppy game tonight. We've got to tighten up a bit. I understand back-to-back games, and a win is a win, but we must tighten up, says El Tango 45. Salute. Let's go Knicks 100. Yeah, defense has got to be our calling card, fam. Our offense can be pretty, and obviously we can grind out some wins even when the shot ain't fallen, but defense has got to be our calling card, fam. And Brunson, Cat, those guys have been a bit better, especially with the communication rotations as well. Cat hasn't been picking up so many silly fouls recently. His drop coverage has gotten better as the season's gone along. It's not at that elite level that we need as the full-time 5 against certain matchups. Like Scotty says, 100%, as I said earlier, fam, we have to treat every possession like it's precious, because every possession is precious. Yeah, I think it's a nice, we have to find the right balance, between playing at a faster pace, but taking care of the basketball. Obviously, Brunson is a lot steadier than a Cameron Payne, than a Deuce McBride. So he's going to be, taking care of the offense mostly. But I would love us to cut down on these cross-court and these touchdown passes, these outlets. I mean, like I said before, some of them are pretty, but for every one or two, one of them gets picked off. One of them gets out of bounds or is just out of reach. So yeah, we've got to take care of these possessions, fam. Nothing frustrates me more as a fan than a turnover, because it's self-inflicted. I can handle a brick shot. At least you got the shot up. You got a chance to get a bucket. But if you turn the ball over from just sloppiness, you don't give yourself a chance to get a bucket. You just wasted a possession. And then you got to go back the other end and get a stop. You got to get back and reset and do it all again. So yeah, turnovers frustrate me the most, and I think it's the same for the coach. You see Tibs, just the camera always has a knack for panning to Tibbs's face when it's MSG, when the Knicks turn it over, and you see Tibbs just shake his head, fam. Especially when it's Cameron Payne. Usually, when it's Cameron Payne, the Knicks got 10 turnovers tonight, so yeah, below average. But we had so many misses tonight, man. 46% from the field, 28% from distance. We got some Nets fans in the building. MK says Knicks have to upgrade right now. I think that'll be on their radar. That'll be on their radar to make some moves right now. Analog man, we're buzzing. Great to see you. I have the guy that I have the most faith in this organization is Leon Rose. I mean, Brock Aller as well. I mean, he's right there. Brock Aller, man, he has to pull off some gymnastics, but I believe in those guys. They're gonna get us a great piece, and I think maybe it's gonna be something that nobody sees coming. Maybe it will be one of those names like Valanciunas that everyone sees coming, but I think there might be multiple moves. There's some buyout candidates as well. Let's see what happens. I see some people say if Kevin Love gets bought out, you would look at some veteran size. Kevin Love could come in and give this Knicks team some depth. Some other centers out there for some tanking teams could get waived as well. We've got Rockets. They've got about 4 centers, and the Portland Trailblazers right now have got 4 centers out here as well. I see DeAndre Ayton put up crazy numbers tonight. So they've got Donovan Clingan, they've got Time Lord Robert Williams, and they've got Duop Reith. So one of those guys has to go, I think. Maybe even 2 of them. And the same with Houston. They've got Steven Adams, Jeff Green, Sengun, and they've got Jock Landale. So those teams have got 4 centers, fam. Let's see what happens. Washington, that's going to happen as well. We'll talk about that in a second. But without further ado, let's talk about Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson tonight. Let's talk about Hart first up. Hart was 3 of 5 from the field, 12 rebounds. The most important rebound was that one late, catching that sky high off the Cam Johnson miss to go ahead with that 3. He gave us 9 assists, 2 steals, 7 points, -3 from Josh Lionheart. Another night playing 39 minutes from Josh Hart. So flirting with a triple-double, almost a double-double, but just short with the assists. 9 assists tonight. So that was key from Josh Hart, man. Continues to rebound better than power forwards, better than some big men as well. Incredible. We're watching a generational rebounding guard every single night from Josh Hart. And he will break more records, I think, as his career goes. Right now, he's the leading rebounder for a 6'4" and under player, and especially with the efficiency scoring near the bucket. Josh Hart, pull up his grade for the night, but he'll get the A-. Josh Lionheart, so he gets the A-. Cat gets the A with the game ball for tonight, fam. The Knicks pulled this one out, man. 99-95, well below our offensive average, which is 119. Yeah, MK, absolutely the Nets are tanking, but they also played some good veterans tonight. And also, yeah, the Knicks were on a back-to-back, but yeah, the Knicks were sloppy. They should have handled their business a lot earlier. I mean, according to script, I would have loved the Knicks to get up by 20 most of the fourth quarter. We could be sitting here talking about Tyler Kolek looking amazing with Huck Porty and Dardier getting some burn. Unfortunately, that was the furthest thing from what happened. But one of the things I wanted to say is coaching makes a big difference for the Knicks, but for the opponents. I do recognize that Cleveland, they changed their coach, fam. They got Kenny Atkinson, who's an amazing coach and a development coach. Look at Cleveland now. That's changed their whole fortune based off last season. They look like the real deal. They changed their coach. They didn't change many players. Look at Brooklyn now. They've got, a ragtag roster of guys, coming together. They're playing hard. They're playing hard for Jordi Fernandez, who's had success coaching at the international level. So he looks to be a coach that's going to make an impact for that franchise. So, coaching, that matters everything, man. If you can get the right coach, you can have success in this league. Look at the Rockets. They're the 2nd seed. They got Ime Udoka. We already know he can coach. And the list goes on. Look at Detroit, man. They shipped out Monty Williams. They got an experienced coach in there in Bickerstaff, and they're having success as well. So yeah, coaching changes everything, man. I do think the Knicks would have a higher ceiling if Kenny Atkinson was our coach, fam. I think many people would agree with that. He's got the best out of certain players as well. He has similar traits to Tibs, but he's more current. He's more adaptable, But yeah, Linsanity doesn't happen without Kenny Atkinson. Buzzer gives J Hart A minus. Salute to that. You also like Aquaman, Steven Adams. Man, he would add some grit. Not gonna lie, Buzzer. Talk about any guy trying to punk us in the playoffs. If we had a Steven Adams, whew, no one's stepping to Jalen Brunson, man. Hard foul. Look out. There'd be no Isaiah Stewart stare downs, you know. There'd be none of that if the Knicks had Aquaman, Steven Adams on this roster. You know, maybe Leon Rose is looking at that. Who is our enforcer, fam? Is it Mitchell Robinson? I mean, Mitch can be an intimidator. I don't know if he's an enforcer out there. He doesn't really like confrontation, does Mitch? But he does stick up for his guys. So, it would still be a nice ad. Last but not least, starting unit, Jalen Brunson. Close the game out, fam, as I bring up some of these buckets late. Once again, credit to Brunson's ability to score in isolation, man. The little two-man game with him and Cat was a joy to watch late. Obviously, those guys executed, for the most part. I can't be upset with the way the Knicks, executed the final 2 minutes. Everything before that was frustrating. But when it was money time, Jalen Brunson stepped up, and a nice little layoff two-man game with Cat and the pick and roll. That's what made me frustrated. We should be seeing that more during the game, and that's the reason why we dug ourselves that hole. The offense just wasn't focused, and I was too careless. But JB finished 7 of 18, 1 of 4 from distance, 2 of 4 from free throw. Once again, something's missing with the free throw right now. Hopefully he's working on that in the gym. 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 17 points, -5 for the captain. So, I've got to be a little critical here. 4 assists is not good enough for Brunson on such a great offense. 38 minutes. He should be averaging 7 to 8 assists, no doubt about it, especially when he didn't have it going scoring-wise. But he got buckets late, and he delivered the dub, did JB. So salute to him, stand up. But yeah, obviously better execution is required earlier in the game, because it's going to be less forgiving when the opponent is stronger. So mixed bag. I'm going to pull up the grade right now, and JB is going to get a B. Straight down the line, a B for Brunson. Closed it out late, but was a little sloppy throughout the game as well. And the 3-point ball, I think he was tired from the second night of a back-to-back with this one, fam. B. Willis says, this is how we look in back-to-backs. Mitch will save our players from running in sand. Paula says, yeah, I wanted Kenny years ago. Yeah, it's amazing he was available for a while. Assistant to Steve Kerr in Golden State. Al Tango agrees. Coaching definitely matters. Look at Detroit. CT. 100%. I think it's a ceiling raiser, Good. There are good coaches out there. For example, Tibs. He can get the most out of certain situations and players, but he can't raise the ceiling, in my opinion. Certain coaches can come in and just raise the ceiling. They just have a broader, set play plan, broader mindset. They can, see things unfold before they unfold. React before it actually happens. Be proactive rather than reactive. I feel like Tibbs is more of a reactive coach. Something happens, he reacts to it. Sometimes, he doesn't prepare for it to happen before it actually happens. Eddie says, I'm trying to figure out if Brunson isn't getting calls because he always looks like he's flopping. Question. Yeah, I think it's always been tough, man, for a player that's 6'2" and under. You know, look at Allen Iverson, who I just talked about before, and I definitely urge you to check out that clip that I tweeted on X, formerly Twitter, at Knicks Buzz. It was a 60 minutes clip from former referee Tim Donaghy being interviewed. You might have seen it already, but yeah, he was talking about Allen Iverson, how the referees did officiate him with bias. Damn, so yeah, these players with bravado, with confidence, the referees do take it personally sometimes. You know, whether you believe it or not, Tim Donaghy basically confessed to that. And I do think Karl Anthony Towns is getting officiated differently as well, fam. Now for Tibs, and then the bench. But for Tibs, he will get a C for me tonight, man. Made a couple of tweaks late in the game that helped us out. Went defensive lineup for that possession to get a stop. But for the most part, I don't like the the reluctance to not go deeper into the lineup with this one. The second night of a back-to-back. I mean, we shouldn't be needing OG to play 39 minutes, and the rest Hart 39. And obviously, Size, we got out rebounded, refused to play Huck Porty. Just like Scotty says, where is Huck? And why isn't he getting minutes? He's got offense, rebounding. We'll get you a few block shots. Now is the time to get him acclimated so he'll be ready to fill in just in case of burnout. That's one of the things that I said before, man. Be reactive, be proactive before reactive. But Tibbs just ain't thinking that way, fam. He's coaching each game like it's the final game that matters, that he's trying to get that win. He's not ready to trust these young fellas for the future right now. And that I guess that's the difference between him and a Kenny Atkinson, or him and a Jordy Fernandez, or insert whoever name you want to say. It could be Johnny Bryant, Rick Brunson, Chauncey Billups. It could be anyone. But I think someone with a younger mindset, I think would look at the game differently. Like you said, I think playoffs, we all know it's inevitable. We're going to make the playoffs, fam. We're going to most likely go far in the playoffs. So wouldn't you think now, okay, let's try to sneak in some Dardier burn. Let's try to get Huck Porty going. Let's try to get Kolek in there where I can, 4 minutes every game, just so he can get going. But no, Tibbs don't want a bar of that. Right, he just wants to play 8 men, and that's it. That's it. He just wants to grind these guys down to the ground and scrape out with the dub. That's all he cares about right now. And it's also at Leon Rose, I mean, you're the president. I know there's that faith, the loyalty between the two, the friendship and the professionalism, but we've seen the story a couple of years now where the Knicks burned out in the playoffs, and if it happens for a third year running, best believe people will be out for blood, not just you, not me sometimes, others, it'll be the end of Tibbs, right? I guarantee it. If the Knicks run down in the playoffs and we burn out, that'll be it. There's no going back from that. On that note, Geraldine asked CT, how far do you think we'll get in the playoffs if we don't make any moves at the trade deadline? Second round, Geraldine. Second round is our ceiling if we don't make any moves. Yep, I think that's our ceiling, fam. I think the Knicks still have a chance to win that second round and make the third round, but I'm more than likely seeing a second round exit if we don't make a move right now. I think, our rotation is just too shallow. It's too small, and physicality wise, size wise, we are too small. We are too small, and not enough bodies. Not enough bodies in there. And it's not because I don't believe in our guys. I believe in them. They can do what their body can allow them to do, but it goes beyond that. Guys will wear down, and guys will have inconsistent nights. The shots will fall some nights, sometimes they won't. But I mean, yeah, Campaign, Landry Shamet, Precious, Deuce, that's not up to par, in terms of, being, among the elite benches. I think Tibbs will have to really carefully manage the rotation if we don't make any changes in terms of manage the lineups. Sorry, in terms of like keep Cat on the floor with Hart at all times, or keep Brunson with OG together at all times. He's going to have to really carefully manage that during the games, I think, um, because yeah, the playoffs will be tricky. Yeah, the playoffs will be tricky. Um, James Edwards commentates, says probably the worst offensive game of the season for the Knicks. They look stuck in mud, yet the game is right there for the taking. Squeak this out and get 3 days rest. So yeah, the Knicks did that. The Knicks did that. Also, some observations. At Vert says the Knicks visibly unhappy going to the bench off that timeout. Towns ready to tear his jersey in two. Hart walking back and forth, about to rip a towel. So that was right. That was the timeout when OG missed the layup, and Brooklyn, I think, got the ball and called the timeout with about 2-something minutes remaining, and that was when the Knicks just couldn't buy a bucket. So yeah, there was visible frustration with this one. Yeah, the Knicks squeak it out. But yeah, I'm not reacting too strongly to tonight based off just tonight. We've seen bad losses against Detroit, Orlando, Utah, the Bulls, the Hawks, the list goes on. We've had a lot of letdown games, and we thought tonight might be one of those, but we avoided that, which is great. But it doesn't mean that, it couldn't happen again. It doesn't mean that it couldn't happen again, because we've seen it before. Like I said, Detroit, ATL. I mean, I'm still miffed at how we lost to Chicago twice, Chicago still can't gather any ground right now. They are terrible. Chicago are 10th, 6 games below 500 right now, 4-6 in their last 10. And we lost to them twice as well, which is yeah, just really, really poor. Paula says we are small and playing out of position. Yeah, I think it could be an easy adjustment and tweak if we get some guys into the rotation and adjust. But yeah, I think Tibbs will just continue to double down on what's working, because it is a mirage. It is working in his eyes because we're 13 games above 500. But if you're on the realist side of things, you'll see that we are vulnerable. That is the regular season mirage that Tibbs coaches with the record. Remember we were the 4th seed back in 2020, 2021, and we crashed out to ATL in 5 games. We were the favorites in that series. We finished 4th, and we couldn't get it done, and we looked vulnerable in the postseason. So yeah, for me now, I learned last season, the regular season record doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. I'm being honest. We could finish 8th, turn it on, and go deep in the playoffs. We could finish 3rd and still flame out in the playoffs. It's really about how you look more than the record. Because once the first round series starts, it's a level playing field. It's 0-0. It's a new season basically. And we've seen it. We were the 8th seed when we knocked off Miami as well. Geraldine says, if we don't make it out of the second round, do you get rid of Tibbs? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt about it. Now, Tibbs, I think, the organization will look after him. He might get a job in the front office. He might get a development role, something else, assistant or coaching ambassador role. But yeah, I think it'll be time for a fresh voice, a fresh idea. He got extended, obviously, but I do think that, yeah, unless Leon Rose and him can really upgrade the roster, I think serious consideration should be given to changing the coach if the Knicks can't get out of the second round right now. So As we look at the bench tonight, Deuce McBride, Precious Achua, Shamit, and Cameron Payne. Let's hit up all their grades right now and talk about some trades, some trade news, and the games today around the NBA. Deuce was the best player off the bench for me, 3 of 6. But right alongside him, Precious Achua, 5 of 7, 4 rebounds, 11 points, was impactful, but both were in the minus. Campaign was +9 in his 9 minutes, but just gave us 2 points. And Shamit a donut. So, yeah, that tells the story, guys, with the scoring. You get 18, you get 19, 20 points off the bench from 4 guys. Is that enough? I'll leave that up to you to consider, but 20 points off the bench is, it is definitely going to be tough matchups where we're going to need more than that. And I hopefully stagger these lineups a bit better and hopefully get some more shooting out there. I think Dardier, Kolek have shown that they can hit the 3. Once again, I'll give them a chance. So I'll give Deuce and Precious their grade coming up. They both get the Bs for me. And for Cameron Payne, I'll give Cam a C+ in this one. And I'll give Landry Shamit a C for his minutes in this one. So, yeah, we do rely a lot on Deuce McBride, and he's our 6th man. And we do struggle when he's out of the lineup. When he's been back, we've definitely looked a lot stronger, and our record has kind of steadied. We were on that bad streak, fam, where we lost 3 in 4 nights, or 3 in 4 games. We got Deuce McBride back, and we are looking a lot more steady right now. So now that the Deuce is starting to get loose, as Johnny says in the chat right now, the Knicks are a Brunson or Cat injury away from being mediocre. I think, yeah, we are one of those rosters that are a little top heavy. Fam, you look at Phoenix. I think overall we're better than Phoenix as a roster, but I do think, like us, like them, if you lose KD or Booker, there's just no chance. For us, same thing. We can survive without Brunson for certain nights. I think because Cat's our MVP. He's capable of exploding for 35, 40. Deuce is capable of coming in for Brunson and giving us close to the same production, sometimes better. So I think Brunson is the more expendable of the two. But yeah, certainly Cat, Cat's that guy. Cat's that guy that's really raised our ceiling. That's going to get us hopefully a chip. Hopefully a chip real soon. But yeah, I want us to think about the future a lot more, because I do think our rookies deserve a chance. I really liked our draft. I like the look of Kevin McCullough as well. Fortunately, we haven't got to see him yet due to the health concerns, but that's why he slipped, to the 56th pick in the draft. But Kolek and Dardier, they've looked okay, and they certainly look solid in the G League right now. But I get it. If you want to be a contending team, most of you are thinking, CT, let's go bigger game hunting. Let's get this veteran on the trade block. And I think that's what Leon Rose's preference will probably be. As we look around the league right now, to continue to shout you guys out. But the big news today is that the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz, Danny Ainge, has agreed on a deal, right? A swap deal of picks, no players included. But Phoenix will be receiving 3 first-round picks off the Utah Jazz. 3. And all they're doing is sending the Utah Jazz their unprotected 2031 draft pick. So basically, that's a really valuable pick for Utah, because by 2031, there's a chance that the Phoenix Suns are one of the worst teams in the league. But what do they get out of it? They get that 3 first-round picks that they can move for the Jimmy Butler deal. right now. And do the Knicks get involved in this? Let's see. Let's see. We've got some news buzzing around league circles right now. Potential Jimmy Butler move, including the Heat, the Suns, the Bucks, and they say a facilitating fourth team. You know, could that be where the New York Knicks get involved? Maybe be opportunistic, fam. But this is looking more realistic for me. Phoenix would receive Jimmy. Milwaukee get Bradley Beal. Miami would receive Chris Middleton. And the facilitator takes on X player or salary. We'll see, man. I know Phoenix will be hoping to offload Yusuf Nurkic's contract, man. I don't want a part of him as well. You know, Valanciunas is already a liability defensively, but offensively, he's more sound. But Yusuf Nurkic would be a liability. I think a tanking team would be looking to take him, I think, but not us. So let's see. It does look like Jimmy's going to be heading to the Phoenix Suns now. What do you guys think about that? Johnny says a big meh from our bench tonight. Yeah, let's get some youthful energy in there. Kolek, Hakporti, Dadie. Paula says that's not enough. There's no reason for that, no rhythm. They need to play. And Geraldine says, CT, if we don't make it past the first or second round, if they get rid of Tibbs, what coach do you think could get us a chip? That's a great question. I think a player, I do like a former player coach, I'm not going to lie. Definitely not Doc Rivers, but I mean, I know I did mention this last time. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think there'll be some rumors about Mark Jackson. I think the organization, but maybe maybe a Rick Brunson. Rick Brunson could get an opportunity with the connections, obviously. But yeah, a former coach, a former player coach out there. Let's see what happens. You know, we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. But a coach with experience, you know, definitely. But a younger minded, more a coach who's willing to play a more modern offense, you know, rather than just the read and react situation. Now, as I refresh the standings, we've got a lot going on tonight, man. The Knicks moved 13 games over 500. We are now 5-5 in the last 10. 2-game win streak. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's keep things rolling. But again, if the Knicks continue to win, you know, Tibbs will be less likely to make changes as well. So that's the conundrum right now. He'll be less likely to, include somebody else in the rotation, because if he feels like it's working, he's not gonna touch it unless Mitchell Robinson is the main guy to be back. But like Buzzer Beater said before, man, the Bucks, the Pacers, they are putting together a nice run, and they have overtaken the Magic, as well as the Hawks and the Pistons have too. So yeah, the Magic, man, they've got Paolo Banchero, but they're 3-7 now, and they are way back now, 6 games back of the New York Knicks. Now the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not worried about them. The Knicks have the season series, and also there's a 3-game cushion right now, but they've got more games to play. They are 24-17, and the Pacers are 5 games above 500 now. They're starting to put together a deep run, 8-2. So look out for them to be impactful, fam. Yeah, to further to your question, Geraldine, if the Knicks were to meet the Pacers in the second round again and lose, that would be incredible. That would be incredibly disastrous if the Knicks were to face the Pacers and not be able to get past the Pacers again, man. That would have to be a must-win series for Tom Thibodeau, in my opinion, fam. Or something crazy would have to be the narrative, where there would be a big injury, or, you know, I mean, yeah, there's no way back from that, in my opinion. 7-game series last season, we would have to get past the Pacers. So, and the Hawks, yeah, we are 2-3. We are 2-1 against the Hawks. We're 1-2 against the Hawks, and we have work to do against them in the season series. We do have a little cushion right now, but coming up we have the Kings, the Grizzlies, and the Nuggets. So can the Knicks go 2-1 in the next 3? Can we go 3-0? Will we go 0-3? I think the most winnable game is definitely Sacramento. Maybe even the Nuggets, Sacramento or the Nuggets. We did handle the Nuggets over there, but they are playing better right now, and they'll be out for revenge. So I would take 1 and 2. Not gonna lie, I would just take 1 and 2. Ideally we beat Sacramento after a 3-day rest. Maybe Sacramento will be playing more minutes than us, and we should come out with energy, come out strong in that matchup. As I said today, the Raptors picked up a big win. RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes played well, no quickly, but the Raptors pulled off a big win over the Magic as well. So the Magic got some chemistry to figure out, but they will get Franz Wagner back, so that will help them as well. Sixers, I mean, they're sorry right now. They are tanking. They should be tanking if they're not, and their season's done. Right, Joel Embiid in and out of the MASH unit. Paul George in and out of the injury report. Sixers are done right now. They are done. The Nets will probably finish higher than them. The Heat took a loss today as well, so that's good for us. And the Lakers and the Wiz are doing battle right now. And with that said, yeah, let's get ready to wrap this thing up. Right, Geraldine, have a great night. Great to have you with us. Salute Michael Drake in the building. Great to see you. Let's keep this train rolling, says Michael Drake. And we will. I think we will keep this train rolling. I do think we will weather the storm through this tough schedule, but help has to come, man. Help has to be on its way for the New York Knicks to go all the way with this one, right? There'll be more twists and turns throughout the season. However, we have to position ourselves for success, right? We have to match up well, make the right decisions, and let's lock down defensively. Guys, let's get discipline. Let's get some more size into the lineups so that we don't have to rely on the 3-point shooting on a nightly basis, right? And our pretty offense. Paula says the process is over. 100%. Things you love to see. Philadelphia crashing out. Failure to stay healthy. To think who gave them the winner of the offseason, man. Paul George was a shell of himself, right? Steve Ballmer knew that. The Clippers knew that, That's why they didn't offer him that deal. Daryl Morey and the dumb Philadelphia 76ers thought it was a good opportunity. But right now, we've got bigger fish to fry right now. Indiana, the Bucks, ATL, Cleveland looking up to Boston. Right now, the New York Knicks, orange and blue skies, fam. Peace, everyone.